why aren't you online? Okay, so why don't you call Sam? Um, so how do we? Okay, so we begin with this question. Um, a lot of people ask, when you say, "Oh, I want peace of mind," and that's something that can't be achieved. It's like saying, "I want water not to be wet." Right? It can't be done. So your mind, my mind. All right. So what is it? It's basically thoughts. They just come and they go random. Just random thoughts, memories, what you've watched on TV, what's going on, just everything around you. Plus, also what says, for example, your thinking will impact me. Your thinking will impact me. So, whatever community group we're in, their collective thinking will also impact us, right? So, they're not your thoughts. They're not your thoughts. That's the first thing. Because your thoughts, what you think are your thoughts, are only there because you've been given the language and information, and they just sing and dance on their own. They create their own stories because that's how it keeps going. That's how the mechanism of the mind works, right? So we have this. So you have, I have, everyone has this little complex called the egoic complex. Right? We call it, oh, it's his ego or her ego. But what it means is it's that story. That's all it is. It's the story you tell yourself. The problem is you believe it and you also fight against it. And you can't. You can't. So it's like a ruddy kid that keeps creating mischief in order for you to engage in it. The only way you can disengage from it is to now find out how can I take my. So, okay, let me explain it in another way first before I go there. So, your thoughts and my thoughts, they're sticky. Okay, so the moment you perceive them, you're caught in it. And you start playing the story yourself. You become involved in the story, entangled. Entangled is the word, right? You get entangled in the content of your thoughts, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're saying, etc., etc. You get entangled in that. That entanglement, you then believe. So if you say, if a thought comes in, I'm not good enough, you believe it. If a thought comes that, life is perfect and wonderful, you'll find a way which it isn't in order for that story to continue. This is the nature of that monkey. It cannot be killed. You can't kill a shadow, can you? A shadow only goes when you face the sun. The same is true here. The shadow is your mental content and you're trying to kill it, trying to get rid of it. You can't. So what do? You shift your perspective and become aware of the thoughts. Your thoughts can't do anything to you unless you believe them. Unless you believe what you're saying to yourself, unless you believe your story, they're immaterial. They're like clouds. We can be sitting here looking at a cloud on a beautiful day, and someone will see a dragon, and someone will see a pixie, and someone will see this in the same cloud. And so is true with our thoughts. So our thoughts are effectively, it's whatever is there. Subconscious thought, past life thoughts, it's much deeper than we know, right? But let's just take what we do know. Can you think in a language you don't know? No. So all your thoughts are being given to you through the language. If I'm born in a Christian community or a Muslim community or a Republican community or a Labour community or jihadi community or whatever it is, I become like that. Not because I've got that, not because I'm born with that. It's because all of that information that I'm fed. And that becomes the content of my thoughts. That becomes my thought, the structure of my thoughts. And then, especially when you have religious ideas, then you start believing one set of thoughts and not the other. So you start to become, I better be good so I can go to heaven or get a better reincarnation or whatever your score is. But you can't do that. You can't run from one and avoid the other. Thoughts will come and go. Your job is to first recognize the noise. Stage number one. So this is how do we discipline it? We begin with simple get into the body first. That's why I do the body scan first. Whenever we do our meditation, what do we begin? We begin with the body because we're so in our thoughts that we are hardly in our body. And when we do get into our body, we discover, oh, I've got a pain here. I've got this here. I've got that here. And the reason is because you've been ignoring it, or I've been ignoring it. So stage one is to go into the body as best as you can. Right? So if you have difficulty, then what I would suggest to you is before you sit for your meditation, just tap your body, like Qigong style everywhere, and then sit. And you will find that your body is buzzing. And because your body is buzzing, your awareness, your focus comes into the body easier. Yeah. So as you do this, you will find that that's stage one. The second thing is we need to find something that we can hook our awareness to. So at the moment, it's hooked to trying to fight the thoughts or to slow them down, etc. So what we have to do is we have to move it from that perspective to another one. We have to find another anchor. And the anchor we find is breath. Or if you're really getting into it, is breath and sound. When you recite something within your mind and you follow the breath. And your focus will go. It will go 100 times. Every time it goes, you bring it back. Every time it goes, you bring it back. That's how you learn. And sooner or later, you will find there comes a moment when you feel, oh, I think I've reached some state of peace. There's a level of peace in me. And that peace is only there because you have separated yourself from your thoughts. And when you're in that peaceful space and you have your thoughts come and go, you will find that your reaction to them is totally different. You see them and you come back. Yeah. So discipline our thoughts requires an anchor. Where can I go back? Where can I go back? Every time I get lost in my thoughts, where do I go back? So best way is with your breath. However, when you first begin, sometimes breath meditation is very difficult, right? Because we don't know how to do that. So another way is clench your feet. Clench your feet as hard as you can, and you will find your focus will go there sooner or later. And it separates itself from your story because it's this uncomfortable. People who have a tendency for self-harm, for argument's sake. One of the techniques that we have finding something like isolate will last for a while, but it won't do you any harm, but it will take you away from your story. Right? This is the key. You have to first recognize you have a mind, but you are not your mind. You have one. You have a body, but you're not your body because your body is always changing. But in the morning, you plug in again. Yeah. You have emotions, but you are not your emotions. So body, sensations, thoughts, emotions, these are changing. Whatever is changing can't be you. Once, and hence I try and kind of add a little bit of like wisdom behind the meditation of realizing that anything that's changing ain't you because you're not changing. You're the same person that went to sleep last night. You're the same person that was 6 years old. You're the same person that will be 90 years old. But your thoughts will have changed. Your emotions will have changed. Your body will have changed. But you within yourself will be the same. This inner space is your consciousness, call it your soul, call it whatever you want to call it. But effectively, it's just awareness, it's consciousness. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. It's unchanging. That bit of your unchanging stuff is the bit that we visit every time we do meditation. And we get into that peace, even if it's for a minute. We know that we've separated from our mental content. We know we've separated. So we need to find something to anchor ourselves in order to train ourselves how to get out of the story. Most people don't even know this. Speak to people. I remember one Well, I've only had one person ever leave my training course. And it was when she discovered she's not her thoughts. And she said, if I'm not my thoughts, I don't want to know what I am, and walked out. Because we are so entrenched with our thoughts. We actually believe all the nonsense we tell ourselves. Because no one teaches us this. No one gives us this basic understanding of recognizing that your thoughts are your thoughts, good or bad, no difference. The good and bad only become valuable if you believe them. If you believe a thought, then it becomes good or bad. But ultimately, a thought is a thought. But once we realize it in our bones, and that takes practice, my friends, that takes practice. Once we can separate ourselves from that content, we begin to recognize there's this awareness, and you can't switch it off. It's always there, but you plug into it or you become it. Let's not plug into it, you become it. And that's the way we discipline our thoughts. Yeah. The other way to discipline your thought is to use a frequency, a mantra. So you'll find many people who practice meditation, particularly in some of the Indic regions, they use sound. Now, what that means is basically, see, sound has four, well, I'll only look at three. Sound, one is that you can hear what I'm saying. So I can be sitting here talking to you and I can hear what I'm saying. You can hear what I'm saying. That's sound when it comes out. Before sound comes out, I could be sitting here just murmuring to myself or muttering to myself. You can't hear it, but I can hear it. That's another part of sound. Then there is a part of sound where I can be saying anything in my mind deliberately. And you can do that now. You can use it, think anything. I am God. I am peaceful. I like candy floss. Doesn't matter. If you say it in your mind and you listen to it, that's the crux. You've got to listen. Because if you're listening to what you are saying, you're not listening to your thoughts. So that's a deliberate way of teaching yourself. Hence, repetition of a mantra is so effective. But you have to do it by listening to what you're saying. That's one of the stages. But as you're listening right now, you can close your eyes and you can say something to yourself. And I would ask you the question, who within you is listening? What's listening in you? It's not your ears. What's listening? That's your awareness. And if I was to ask you a second question, before you say the word within yourself, where does it begin from? Where does it start from? Does it start from your head? Okay. Go to say something, but suppress it. Okay? Go to say whatever you want to say, right? But suppress it. As soon as you try and say it, suppress it and see where you feel the sensation. That's it. Starts here. Starts here, comes here, out. Right? But at this stage number, this early stage, when we are reciting it within ourselves, we're saying the same word, and you use a divine word. You can use Hallelujah, Allahu, Jehovah, Ave Maria, Satnam, Vaheguru, Soham. There's hundreds of them. Why are there hundreds of them? Because they work. That's why they're still here. Om Mani Padme Hum is 2,500 years old, if not longer. Why is it still here? Because it works. Right? So these methods have been used because everyone shares the same illness, which is mental noise. And the more stuff we put ourselves into our mental space, watching stuff, listening to gossip, listening to this, watching dramas, whatever it is, and you will find most of the stuff that we watch on TV has elements of anxiety, but they're pretty negative. Either competitive, anxiety, Even with the food programs, you have to wait until someone wants something. It's competitive. Every time we engage in that, look, you put some food that's unfit for human consumption, and I say that that's unfit, you can do something about it. You can take something to expel it out. But once that stuff goes in here, my friends, in your mental content, sometimes it's very difficult to take that out. So rather than try to fight it, we can also create a level of mental and emotional immunity, which means drawing boundaries. Knowing, nah, I'm not going to engage in this. Nope. And I'm going to step away. So you take some control. Because at the moment, without those kind of necessary changes that are very, very necessary in this day and age now, without that, you will find that your mind is just like a flowing river, and it'll just keep taking you. It'll just keep taking you from one bank to another, one story to another. If you ever get to the point where you can watch your thoughts, in fact, one really interesting way of doing it is to say, sit, and I will ask you, tell me what your next thought's going to be, and see what happens. Yeah? As soon as you begin to look for the thought, you'll find it's not there. It doesn't want to come. As soon as you're looking at it. But as soon as you take your focus away from that, off it goes. Yeah, it's like a cat watching. You remember those Tom and Jerry things? The cat watching the little mouse hole, and the mouse wouldn't come out. It's the same here. When you deliberately say, "All right, I'm going to wait to see what my thoughts are," and you will find. And I would only advise you to do that for a couple of minutes, right? Because it can get a bit too much. Couple of minutes, just sit there. Imagine you're in front of a big white screen, and you're waiting for your thoughts. And when they come, notice what happens to them. Do you get involved in it? Do they come and go? And your thoughts cannot do anything to you. Just like a shadow can't. But you can keep running away from it. And no matter how far you run, it's always there. Yeah? So we have to learn to look the other way. We have to learn to take our focus away from the shadow into where the sun is, or awareness, or whatever you want to call it. Does that help? Sort of. Okay. What I was going to talk about today was that, look, up till now, I've been kind of teasing and putting little, clues along the way, that we are going through a massive, massive, massive transformation. And this transformation, you ain't seen nothing until the next few months. You saw what happened last week, right? With all the American geopolitics. Happened like that. Well, that's just the politics. The economy has its own issues. The world, the climate will have its own issues. And we are going, the moon, when it comes close to the earth every 28 days, it impacts the tides. And we have a word for people losing their mind. They're called lunatics when the moon is close. Now imagine if you have 7 planets all aligned. What kind of impact do you think that has on the earth? The physical impact. I'm not talking about anything supernatural. Physical impact. Well, that begins around the 15th, 14th of March, and then it goes on. And what that means is life begins to change very, very quickly. But this is where your meditation is going to become critical, number one, for your own sense of calmness. Because out there, it'll be a circus, right? For your own calmness. The second thing that's going to be of value is realizing that the way we've been living is not sustainable anymore. It has to change. And has to change not because we want to change, but we are going to be forced into change. And this force into change It's nothing to do with the World Health Organization or World Economic Forum or the Illuminati or any of that stuff. This is cosmic. This is cosmic. I've been trying to explain to you the nature of reality isn't what you think it is or I think it is. The nature of reality is there's this huge ocean, and this ocean is self aware. It knows that it is. And this ocean is what's playing the whole game. And when, okay, let me explain it another way. Give more science to it, right? Because people believe that bit more. So our heart gives off electromagnetic frequency, right? We're all kind of electromagnetic, all of us, right? We have, so electromagnetic means that there's energy, and electromagnetic means that we are moving towards something and moving away from something, right? So we've got that. That's just the nature of existence. Our anxiety, as it builds up, will influence the Earth's electromagnetism, the Earth's Schumann resonance, which will then disturb the Earth, which will then disturb us. Every time we slaughter 1 billion turkeys, every time we slaughter animals, we slaughter children in Gaza or in Ukraine or wherever else, that anguish that's left doesn't go anywhere. It's now coming home to roost. And we are in that space now. And the only reason I'm making this aware now is because time is here. Up till now, we've just been sort of hinting. I'm over there, but I'm saying this is now recorded and you can check it out in a month or 2 months' time. Can give you a lot more detail, but don't want to freak you out. But what I do want to say to you is time to prepare. How do you prepare? Make sure you have some cash at home. You've seen what's happened in Spain. Huge amounts of water, can't get to the bank, can't get to the supermarket. Make sure you have some cash at home. Make sure you have some food at home. Make sure you know who your communal kind of space is, who's connected to whom. Improve your immunity. Turmeric, breath meditation, yoga, Qigong. Improve your immunity because these changes are significant. Make sure that you ensure that your nervous system isn't too hammered. And why? Because you get stressed. The more stressed you are, the more it'll be hammered. So learn how to come out of it. How do you do it? Ground yourself. Walk outside barefoot in the morning for a few minutes until your feet are cold. And then pour some warm water over it. And you'll find that helps massively. Things like these are going to become important. And most importantly, see how you can live a life that's simple without all the bells and whistles. Simple life is where we are now going into. And in a year or 2 years' time, we will look back and say, wow, that was a challenge. But you know what? It was a great opportunity because we've now changed in a way that we are more healthier in ourselves, healthier in the world. As my friend said the other day, he said they've created a hell on earth and painted it as happiness. And that's the truth of it. Everywhere you look now, tell me where you see peace. Where do you see stability? Where do you see loyalty? Nothing. All gone. And going very quickly. Why? Because that's the way it needs to be happening. And hence, we will then realize something called divine order. There is something much, much greater than you and I and everything else that always brings things to balance. Always. Always. And this is the balance. And it just happens to be the pendulum is now swung from one side to the other. And as we go through this transition, some of these things that are mentioned are going to be of value. And meditation and mantra recitation are probably going to be the most valuable practices to ensure that we can navigate through this particular part, which begins in the next few weeks. And then off it goes. Okay, so let's begin with our meditation. Gosh, didn't realize I spoke for half an hour. Okay, so as ever, we always begin with our physical body. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes and you're going to bring your focus to your eyes. My eyes are truly closed. And your intention, set your goal. What's your goal today? Your goal is simply to notice what's going on with you, right? Not to get into a particular, magical space, but to notice what's going on with you on your body and everywhere within yourself. Then, if you pull your back up straight, pull your shoulders back a little bit, and then just tuck your chin in, you should be comfortable but not rigid, upright. And then, as you draw your breath in, bring your focus to yourself and notice what's going on with your body. So, this is at a physical level. So, a pain, an ache, a tightness, an itch. And just to help us get a better handle on what's going on with our body, remember you're looking at the physical sensations. Imagine a hula hoop above your head. And as this hoop comes down, you begin to notice sensations that begin with the top of the head moving down. Take your time. All the way down. Okay. Next breath in. Once again, become aware of your body. Notice your posture. And again, notice if there's anything that draws your focus at this moment. Okay. Next breath in, you bring your focus to the seat you're on. And remember, we're looking at what's going on with us right now. So you will notice that there are sensations where the seat makes contact with your body. So bring your focus. And you will also notice that the seat holds you in place and the ground beneath you holds your seat in place. And just as the ground beneath you holds you in your place, the air, the space that surrounds you holds you where you are. Can't be anywhere else. You can think about being somewhere else, but physically, you're actually embedded in the moment of now. You can't escape it. You can't go a minute back and you can't go a minute forward. So allow yourself to ground yourself to your seat. Notice the sensations. And then from those sensations, we bring our focus upwards. Move down our thighs. Remember, you're looking for sensations, okay? So it's quite a deliberate act, as best as you can. And then from your knees, you allow this awareness to move down, scanning the back of your legs, scanning your front legs. And then from your ankles, you move to your feet. Notice the soles of your feet. Now bring your focus back to your seat, and you will realize you already have the ability to discipline your focus. You can take it wherever you want it. Learn to ignore your thoughts. And then from your seat, again, you notice you're held. Allow your body to soften a bit. And then very gently, you're going to use your focus like a spotlight, moving it from your lower back, lighting all the way up to your middle back. Remember, you're looking for sensations. And if you find anything, no commentary, no judgment, just notice where it is. From your middle back, we move up to the shoulder blades. And then gently allowing this awareness to move to the shoulders. Once you're at your shoulders, see if you can soften a little bit. And then from your shoulders, you allow this awareness to move down towards your elbows. Remember, all you're doing is just looking for sensations as you scan your body, moving from your elbows to your wrists. The palms of your hands, the fingers on your hands. And on your next breath in, you allow this awareness to move to your eyes. So when you get to your eyes, you will notice either you can have awareness of the back of your eyelids, or it could be darkness. And you will also notice you can't switch this awareness off. You can take it to different parts of your body, but you can't switch it off. And then as you breathe out, you allow your eyes to soften. And on your next breath in, you bring this awareness to your lips. Scanning your upper lip. Scanning your lower lip. And then gently allowing this awareness to move into your mouth. And just notice the sensations within your mouth. The roof of your mouth. Inside cheeks. Notice your tongue. Allow it to soften. Notice your jaw. Allow your jaw to soften. And then as you breathe out, you allow your face to soften. And on your next breath in, you become aware of your body as best as you can. And again, all you want to do at this stage is notice what's going on with the body itself. Pain, ache, tightness, itch, pressure. And now you're going to bring your focus beneath your nose, and your commitment to yourself is to try and hold your focus beneath your nose with a little bit of effort. Anchoring it to the movement of your breath. So you begin to notice allowing the breath to breathe by itself, that the in breath moves in and the out breath moves out. And while you hold your focus beneath your nose, I want you to be ready to notice when the focus shifts. So you want to deliberately wait, anticipate. In fact, you want your focus to be distracted while you hold it beneath your nose. Notice the in breath moving in, notice the out breath moving out. Waiting to be distracted. Next breath in, bring your focus to your inner space. What's going on within you? Let's move to your mind. And if you can just anticipate the next thought, wait for it. And whenever you find you've got engaged in your thoughts, distracted from your focus, bring your focus back to your breath. And then once again, moving it within yourself and waiting for your next thought. Next breath in, bring your focus now to your chest. And you want to notice the movement of your chest in rhythm with your breath. Becoming aware of those subtle sensations within your chest as the breath moves in and the breath moves out, as best as you can. And now, if you can, bring your focus a bit deeper into yourself, right where your heart is. And as you hold your focus there, notice how you're actually feeling. Do you feel anxious? Do you feel irritated? Do you feel angry? Do you feel fearful? Or do you feel calm, peaceful, tranquil? How are you actually feeling in this moment? And on your next breath out, you simply open your awareness to all the sounds around you and begin to listen. Notice how we've changed from focusing on a particular point to now simply being open, listening, not thinking about a sound, not looking for a sound, just listening. Once again, bring your focus beneath your nose and again begin to watch your breath. Notice the in breath moving in, notice the out breath moving out. And if you begin to follow your out breath, you want to notice exactly when it finishes. Allow it to flow by itself. Stay with your breath, allowing every out breath to move you deeper and deeper into this moment of now. That's all you're concerned about, this moment. And as long as you focused on what's happening in the moment of now, like your breath or the sounds around you, you will notice you're not in your thoughts. Notice how your breath feels now. Does it feel light or does it feel heavy and labored? Does your breath feel cool or does it feel warm? And now, as best as you can, bring your focus to the sound of your breath. Remember, you can only hear something that's happening in this present moment. So, as best as you can, listening to the in breath, listening to the out breath, or trying. Listening to your in breath, listening to your out breath. Very deliberate, focused. Stay with your breath. And again, on your next breath out, you open your focus to all the sounds around you, but this time also the sound of your breath. Anchored to your breath, but open to all the sounds around you as best as you can be. And allowing the sound of the bell to move you deeper into the silence, simply by listening. Listening. Notice if there's any thoughts around. Are you listening or are you distracted by your thinking? Gently bring your focus beneath your nose, and once again, with a little bit of commitment and effort, you're going to hold your focus, watching the in breath moving in, watching the out breath moving out. Take a moment to notice your experience. Are you wrapped up in your thinking? Or are you able to hold your focus beneath your nose? On your next breath out, you expand your focus to include your whole body once again. And again, you take a moment to notice if there's any discomfort in the body. And then slowly we begin to move this focus within the body itself by first bringing our focus to the seat we're on. Notice the sensations. From those sensations, we move our focus up, noticing our hips. Allow this awareness to flow down your thighs. Remember, you're bringing it back into the body, so don't rush it. From your knees, allowing this awareness to move down towards your thighs, towards your ankles. Notice your feet. And then once again, the soles of your feet. Bringing your focus back to your seat. Once again, notice how well you're held in place. Stable, secure, present. Back is straight and upright. Your shoulders, arms, hands are comfortable. Your eyes are still closed. Your mouth is still closed. And your face is relaxed. Bringing your focus beneath your nose once again. And now, as the breath moves in, you have a sense of your body. As the breath moves out, you can sense your body. Breathing in, you feel calm. Breathing out, you feel calm. Breathing in, you feel your body. Breathing out, you feel your body. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw some slow, deep breaths in, and in your own good time, gently opening your eyes. Take your time.